what are you doing? Armin, you're always reading on the computer. It's so boring.
I know, but we have to read this for our class so we can learn about how people with disabilities are treated around the world.
Okay, well, make it really simple for me.
Not a problem. So this is a toolkit on,
Disability for Africa.
but wait, it's not only for Africa. Many countries around the world have specific cultures, beliefs, and about disability. So let's learn a little.
Okay.
So this document was created by the United Nations to help educators, to help people working in the field of disability advocacy to understand.
Understand what?
To understand how different beliefs around the world impact people with disabilities.
Okay. What's an important word that I need to know about?
Well, one really important word is discrimination. What happens is people around the world who are different are often discriminated. And it's based on something that are called our beliefs.
Believing like what kind of things?
Well, in some countries, people believe that those individuals who are different, who have a disability, are not the same, but they are the same. They just have different needs.
Okay, so it's about helping.
Yes, helping. In a way that we can help as teachers is doing something called advocacy. We can help by advocating and combating something that's called stigmatization.
Stigma.
Yes, a stigmatization is when we look at a certain group of people and we say, oh, they are different, so we don't like them. And we put a stigma on them. And then we start to discriminate them. And we do this consciously or unconsciously. So these are,
Like, well, here it's saying something about negative attitudes.
yes, there's a lot of negative attitudes. And what we need is to go against the myths about people, because there's myths about people with disabilities, which is what this document is working towards. And it's doing it with laws and also taking beliefs that relate to lack of understanding, people are ill-informed, and also in the media, and also reinforcing prejudice and fears.
So what you mean is some people are afraid of people who are different, who have disabilities, and they actually want them to be excluded?
Exactly.
So I have a question for everyone. Are you aware of any harmful or negative beliefs about disabilities in your country? Do laws or policies in your country teach certain things or say things? Or are there not any laws for people with disabilities to help protect them?
Well, a lot of countries don't have laws that protect people. And that's why the UN is coming with this policy, such as the African Child Policy Forum, because often in some countries, it's believed that someone is disabled because of a curse from God, ancestral violations from their relatives before, offenses against gods, breaking laws, family sins, witches, adultery. So these are beliefs that people sometimes believe are the cause of disability. And this can make a big problem in society because we can exclude whole families or individuals.
Okay, so stigma here is basically negative attitudes.
Exactly, negative attitudes.
And discrimination, it says here, comes after we have stigmas.
Exactly. And these are perceptions that can be inside of our society and we're not even aware. This article even says that there's this problem of sexual and physical abuse and violence against people with disabilities. Because sometimes people say, well, we don't treat them the same. And this becomes a big issue. And this is why we need to advocate for them.
Advocate means stand up and say what's wrong and be willing to combat harmful beliefs and practices.
Exactly. We can do this by empowering people. Over here, it's saying in Zimbabwe, they had a program, actually in Swaziland, where the Ministry of Education had kids make songs and perform plays to raise awareness.
So they actually did things like we're doing now. Me and you, Armin, like a puppet and a human talking about a document that's usually pretty boring.
Exactly. We're bringing the document to life. We're doing our best. So there's things that are special to remember. So there's International Day of People with Disabilities. And the main practices here are about making people with disabilities more visible, helping them advocate for themselves, also doing destigmatization campaigns, which just means helping people in communities see
that they're just different and they need different supports.
Exactly. And this relates to something called human
rights. I know. It means every person has the right for certain ways of being treated.
Exactly.
So think about your culture, my friends, okay? Are you aware of good practices in your country or even that help combat stigma rooted in harmful cultural beliefs? Can you think of any? If so, share with us.
Yep. So there's different examples of things that are working well and things that are not working well. But the main key is to document and report when abuses do occur so that people can start seeing, because if we don't talk about abuses of people with disabilities, an abuse could also be neglect, right? Ignoring or mistreating. That's another form of abuse. This can lead to something that are called ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, and they can impact people with disabilities for the rest of their lives. So it's important that we report harmful cultural practices and beliefs. And that's what this document is teaching us, to be advocates and stand up. Exactly. And also do that at the levels of our governments. So thank you for reading. And the main thing is to empower
every person, no matter who they are or what differences they have.
You got it.
Bye.